Yo, guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. We're here discussing starts and sits week one of fantasy football NFL season. Although it officially kicked off Thursday night with the Texans and Chiefs. Chiefs taking care of business. Let's dive right into it. We got the Eagles and the Redskins to start off. So let's check out the Eagles depth chart. So basically, Miles Sanders out, Alshon Jeffrey's out. That means Boston Scott's going to be starting. Sean Jackson's starting. So in the game, I like Carson Wentz, Deshaun Jackson, Zach Ertz, and Dallas Goedert. Anybody else, I would probably not play. I don't. Jalen Reagor, I think he's hurt. It says he's active. But he's a rookie. I'm not big on rookies in the game. Boston Scott's going to be starting. I don't think he's going to do very well. That's who I would go with on the offense. Let's get Redskins offense. Yeah. I literally don't know who I was. They're actually carrying three quarterbacks. I mean, probably the two guys that I would play would be Terry McLaurin, Steven Sims Jr. Steven Sims Jr. has quite a bit of speed. I'm not a big Dwayne Haskins fan. They're going with Antonio Gibson as rookie running back. You're going against that Eagles front seven. Don't like him. Logan tight ends, I don't like. So I would tread very, very carefully on anybody that you Redskin. Next game up on the docket is Miami at New England. So obviously Fitzmagic is going to be starting for Dolphins. Funny as it sounds, I actually would play him this game. Patriots have a lot of questions besides the ball. So I think start Ryan Fitzpatrick for sure. I would play probably Matt Breida over Jordan Howard, although I think Jordan Howard's going to get a lot of looks. They get down in the red zone. Devontae Parker, definite start. Probably go. I don't know if I'd go with maybe Jakeem Grant, but definitely Mike Gesicki. He's literally out of these three tight ends. Shaheen didn't do squat at Chicago. I have no clue who this kid is, so I'm saying Gesicki all day. He should be good to go. So start Fitzpatrick, Breida, Parker. Probably Grant would be like a flex option. Definitely start Gesicki. Or those are my starts. Dolphins. We bounce over to New England. Yeah, I'm not. I've never been a huge Cam Newton fan, but I mean, when he's on, he's good. When he's bad, he's bad. So, um, probably have to start Cam Newton. I mean, it's unless he's your backup and roll with whoever your starter is. Um, Two backs, I would probably James White. Dude can catch the ball, he can run, no question there. Um, and wide receivers, they this is probably the worst Patriots offense I've seen in years. Obviously, I have to start Julian Edelman, but don't expect a whole lot. Because Byron Jones and Xavier Howard from Miami, they're probably going to be on Edelman. They're literally going to force like Steel Harry, Matthew Slater, Demir Bird, Ryan is. They're going to force the guys. So Sonny Michel, James White, Julian Edelman, quote unquote key guys. Um, rest of those guys, and they're gonna have to step up, or it's gonna be a long game, and it's gonna be a long, not a lot, in my opinion, to look forward to there on the Patriots side of the ball. Um, we'll see what happens. It's week 1, so anything can happen. Next, we move on to the Packers at the Vikings. Um, obviously, Aaron Rodgers, one of the best of all time. Start him regardless. Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, definite starts. I kind of like. I actually picked up Allen Lazard, I think, in a couple of leagues. I think with Devin Funchess being out, I think he's got to step up. The other guy I kind of like is a St. Brown. I'm probably mispronouncing that, but um, Packers don't use the tight end a lot, so I wouldn't play any of these guys. I mean, that's kind of it's kind of it in a nutshell for the Packers. There's not really too many question marks. I mean, um, big three, throw Lazard in, St. Brown maybe. They should do all right. We'll go to Minnesota. Dalvin Cook just signed a huge deal. I think he'll be ready to go. Cousins struggled against the Packers. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm like literally forced to start him in a couple of leagues, because I drafted more like wide receiver, running back type players, and kind of sacrificed the quarterback position. Um, Dalvin Cook is a definite start. Adam Thielen is a definite start. Justin Jefferson, rookie, going to be interesting. He's kind of a Stephon Diggs type. So, this BC Johnson kid, I don't really like him that much. A lot last year. I look for Thielen's obviously the clear number 1. I think Justin Jefferson's make himself the clear number 2. Tight end, I I like Irv Smith over Kyle Rudolph. I think Rudolph is on the downhill side of his career. Didn't do a lot last year, so I don't know. It's going to be an interesting game. I think Dalvin Cook's going to have a good game. Don't be surprised if Justin Jefferson has a good game because obviously the Packers are going to put their best corner, Adam Thielen. But I see the Packers going in again. I'm going to say this: the Packers can technically either one of these teams could control the clock because they can both ball. They can dink and dunk around. I think Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are a lot better at doing that. They have a bit better. What am I trying to say? They're more seasoned at the key skill positions. I think they'll come out with in there. So that's who I would start out of those matchups. The next one, yeah, Indianapolis and Okay, so this is interesting. This is what I would. They're saying to start Jonathan Taylor, but he's player number 2. Marlon Mack's a number. I mean, Jonathan Taylor is the bigger of the two backs. Marlon Mack proved time and time again um, that he could do something. So this is what I would tread lightly on. I don't know if I would start Jonathan Taylor. I mean, if you drafted him, and he's your second back, then you have to play him. Um, Marlon Mack is pretty good though. I don't know. I'd shy away from that a little bit, at least in week 1, because we don't know what they're going to do. Obviously, Philip Rivers isn't Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett's not Philip Rivers. Basically, what I'm getting at there is Rivers' mobility is as good as Brissett. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play that. T.Y. Hilton obviously start. Jack Doyle's now the number 1. Mo Alley Cox. I don't know. That's kind of a toss up there. I would I would steer away from that right now, just to see who Philip Rivers prefers, because Philip Rivers does like the tight end. But we'll see whether it's Jack Doyle or Mo Alley Cox. But yeah, Ed. I mean, obviously, I would probably start Rivers, start T.Y. Hilton. Um, and I would tread, like I said, I would tread lightly at the running back position and the tight end position right now until you see how that plays out. Care about Jacksonville. Yeah. So supposedly this James Robinson kid is getting the start. Um, he's a rookie. I'm not a huge fan. Um, like I said, Chris Thompson. You're taking if you're starting anybody, if you have to, Chris Thompson for me, because they're gonna have to pass the ball. Like once they're down by 2, 3 scores, running the ball goes out the window. It's gonna be Chris Thompson, Jay Shark, D.D. Westbrook. I don't know if Conley's gonna do a whole lot. I'm pretty sure this kid's a rookie. Out of the tight ends, I wouldn't start. Had to get one, I would probably Tyler Eifert is commodity. Um, but yeah, I would kind of steer away from that position. Well, I don't really like. I mean, Gardner Minshew's not like one of those. Oh yeah, I mean, he's if you're starting him, then your draft was, in my opinion. Um, so yeah, basically, Chris Thompson, DJ Shark are the only guys I'm starting. Or excuse me, off the Jaguars team against the Colts. Bears and the Lions. I laugh because the Bears are starting Mitchell Trubisky again this year. Why do you spend all that money on Nick Foles and you're not playing? I have no clue. I would be starting Nick Foles, but hey, that's why I'm sitting here recording this video. You guys are hopefully watching it, and we're not GM or coaches. Um, yeah. So David Montgomery, I actually have him. He listed as questionable, but I think let me see. I can't find it. I'm pretty sure ESPN had him listed as active, upgraded to active. I think so. He should play. Um, Tariq Cohen. This was the whole thing last year. Tariq Cohen. Everybody caught on to what they were doing with Tariq Cohen. He had a horrible year. Um, I don't know this. Um, I think you're going to see a lot of two tight end sets with Jimmy Graham and Cole Kmet. They have Demetrius Harris as well. It literally have four tight ends. So that tells me they're going to be looking to run the ball more, and they're going to be looking to do a little bit of dinking and dunking. Allen Robinson, um, probably the only wide receiver I would start. Jimmy Graham, I don't know. It's hard to start a Bears tight end because every year they tout one of them and they don't end up doing anything. Literally, like you're like, oh, it's the next game, then the next game, then before you know it, halfway through the season, and the Bears tight ends haven't done it. Plus, again, Trubisky starting at QB. I can promise you, Matt Patricia is going to come up with some sort of defense. It's gonna they're going to test Trubisky. So, my personal opinion, I'm not starting Trubisky. I would start, and I know when I say this, you're going to be like, you're telling me to start Allen Robinson, not telling me to start Trubisky. I mean, of the guys that could do something on offense, it's probably David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, maybe Jimmy Graham. Um, how much that is, I don't know. Um, I don't really know that they'll go. I don't think they'll go three wide receiver, one tight end. I think it's going to be two wide receiver, two tight ends, and then both Cohen and Montgomery are going to be in the game at the same time. I know there's not a lot. I'm not saying definitely start, but I think Montgomery and Robinson are guys that anything out of that game. Who knows? I could be completely dead wrong, and Mitchell Trubisky does something, and I look like a complete clown. Hey, happened before. So moving on, get over here to this Raiders at the Panthers. So this for me, the Raiders are always an interesting. So according to this, Incognito, Hudson, and Trent Brown are the starters. They're all listed as, if I remember right, did not practice. So there's a possibility these guys may not play. Um, I mean, yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see. I think you're gonna get a heavy dose of Josh Jacobs. Literally, you're going with. I mean, I have no idea. Definitely Darren Waller. I'm saying definitely start Darren Waller. Definitely start Josh Jacobs. Um, yeah, what's up, Nosy on? Um, I don't know what to say about the wide receiver. This has been the guy that's been touted during camp, Brian Edwards, but everybody knows Henry Ruggs III from Alabama. Everybody knows the Raiders drafted Amari Cooper. Um, I don't know. I don't know what to expect from Carolina. No Luke Kuechly, no Thomas Davis. They're going to look completely different on the defensive side of the ball. Take your pick who you start there at receiver. I mean, Derek Carr is not a bad start. Kind of one of those deals. Like I'm a Chiefs fan through and through. Um, I constantly keep waiting for the Raiders to show up and kind of like back to the old like Raiders Chiefs rivalry where they're fighting for the AFC. I think could be this year. Um, I didn't realize Jason Witten was there. Yeah, not starting him again. Derek Carr, Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller. Take your pick at wide receiver. I agree with you that Ruggs is athletic. I just don't know. I mean, I could be completely wrong. I'm just not a huge rookie fan to start this, especially with no preseason games. Because playing like full speed game versus practice, just not the same. Um, so I mean, if me personally, if I had to start somebody out of those three, I would probably start Ruggs. Hunter Renfro kind of reminds me of Julian Edelman. He's kind of that smaller guy, but he runs a lot of those underneath routes. Um, so he could be that guy. He could have pretty good games. I mean, flip a coin. I wish I had a better answer. It's gonna take some seeing how the chemistry develops between the guys. To see how it goes moving. Carolina gonna be interesting. No Cam Newton, Teddy Bridgewater getting the start. Let's look at their yeah. This is so. Let's go back to that. Yeah. I mean, who? I'm just gonna say who in the secondary is gonna cover Henry Ruggs. I don't see anybody right off the bat, so that makes me say I'd lean a little bit more towards Ruggs. I mean, the Raiders could have a huge game. Um, I think they may have to throw the ball more than they run it because front seven here of Carolina. I mean, Burns, Short, those guys feed Jack Thompson to your Whitehead. For me, the secondary is huge question mark. So that kind of makes me lean more toward Darren Waller, Ruggs, Renfro, um, Josh Jacobs can catch the ball out of the backfield, so not bad. But obviously, you're starting Christian McCaffrey. I would say the two wide receivers you start are DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. Um, Bridgewater, I mean, obviously, don't think there's too many guys that drafted Bridgewater, so not really issue there. Ian Thomas played pretty well. Kind of a bigger tight end, so I think he'll be all right. The Carolina offensive line isn't bad. Um, I'd expect a heavy dose of Christian McCaffrey. And see if they can free up DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson. I do have Robbie Anderson in a couple leagues. Probably not starting him at all. I gotta see how this whole thing works. That's what I would go with there. If you see me keep looking over here, I have the games over here. I have to do this differently because it's not set up like I want. Next game, Jets and the Bills. I'm a little bit of a Bills fan this year. So obviously they got Stephon Diggs, they have John Brown, Cole Beasley, Singletary, Josh Allen. I think is going to have a better year this year. Hard to believe that T.J. Yeldon's a third string running back now. I don't like any of their tight ends, so I basically I'm Josh Allen, Singletary, Diggs, and Brown. They Beasley, yeah, not really. He's he's that kind of guy for me. Like I'd rather have. I mean, out of the guys in here, they're gonna probably get touchdowns. It's gonna be Diggs, Brown, Singletary, probably. I mean, hell, I don't know. Maybe they spread it around. Who knows? But Dawson Knox is a no go. So I'd be starting. If you have to start Josh Allen, fine. Dual threat quarterbacks, in my opinion. Not really a whole lot of question of whether you start them or not. Depends on the kind of the defense. I'm not totally sold. I have to look at the Jets defense, but I'm not really totally sold on the Jets. Zach Moss is the other guy that people are talking about for the. He could get. They're saying he could steal some goal line carries from Singletary. But as far as yardage goes, I think Singletary is probably going to be hopefully the guy there. If not, I might be in a little bit of trouble in a couple weeks because I kind of put eggs in the Devin Singletary basket, so to speak, as like a third running back, not second, first, or second. Jets. Yeah, yeah. I'm okay with Josh Allen. I'm not liking what I see. Yeah, the Jets defense. Yeah, they have a couple of guys, but man, they're gonna be. I don't even know what to say. I'm just, I'm just not a Sam Darnold. You know what? Let me go back to the Bills. Let me go back to the Bills. Trent Murphy, Trent Murphy, Ed Aller, Jerry Hughes, Matt Milano, Tremaine Edwards, AJ Klein. Dude, this defense. Not to mention like Mario Addis. I mean, dude, like some of these guys that are like second stringers, they can bring in. I mean, yeah, I'm not starting. There's not a whole lot. The only guy that I would probably start in the game would be Le'Veon Bell, and the only reason I say that is because he can catch the ball out of the backfield and he can run the ball. So the Jets are going to have to try to take the pressure. So these two guys are going to get probably quite a bit of work. Rashad Perryman's been hurt. I mean, Jamison Crowder maybe be the other guy that I would take. But yeah, there's not a whole lot I like on the Jets. I think the Bills get off to a good start against the Jets. That's my 2 cents on that. Ravens and the Browns. The Browns at the Ravens. I kind of touched on this earlier. I literally like this is kind of why I'm sort of down on Lamar Jackson this year. Not that he's athletic. Don't get me wrong. He has a bunch of talent. You have to have talent around him to help him out. Look at all. I mean, this right here, and I kind of circle Willie Snead in that. The only proven commodity at wide receiver you technically have is Marquise Brown, and how tall is he? 5'9". 5'9". I messed that up. Mark Andrews, is a big tight end. Miles Boykin, I think he's 6'4". So he had 22 targets last year. I mean, dude, somebody has to as a second receiver there. Outside of, and I'm not counting Mark Andrews. I don't count him as a receiver, although he's a tight end. Technically, I guess you could, but so that's why I said Mark Ingram, J.K. Dobbins. I think they're gonna have a huge game. I mean, I honestly don't really know what to expect from Lamar Jackson. I mentioned that it sounded like he was struggling in training camp, threw an interception, and something, or it was an inter squad game or whatever they call it. Something like flipped the switch in his head, and like he tore up the rest of that game or practice. Whatever. I mean, if I'm a defensive end, color me silly, stop the run, and cover Marquise Brown. Who do you have? Contain Lamar Jackson. You do that, you have a chance of winning the game. I'm not going to say you're going to win, but you have a chance of winning. Because honestly, don't see. I know the Browns linebackers can cover Mark Andrews. Miles is one of these two guys going to step up? Because I have no clue who these two dudes are. I'm not starting any of them. I'm not starting any of these guys. The only guys that I'm probably starting out of this game is Lamar Jackson, Ingram, and Marquise Brown, Mark Andrews. Those are the only guys I'm starting. I could be completely wrong, but that's who I would start. I'd wait and see how much of a workload J.K. Dobbins gets. I think Mark Ingram still got a couple good years in the tank, so see what comes of that. You were here. I was going through the start and sit 'em. Baker Mayfield, not really a start in my opinion. Curious to see how the Ravens defense plays with it being at home. I think defense will play pretty good. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt are both plays in this game. Chubb for running the ball, Kareem Hunt for receiving. I don't like, again, color me silly, but I don't know, dude. I think OBJ's, I don't know. I'd honestly probably Jarvis Landry. If I'm starting one of these three wide receivers, it's Jarvis Landry. Austin Hooper, you probably, based off of last year, you probably start him. Based off of this year, yeah, I don't know. Tight ends in Cleveland, same thing with I was mentioning with tight ends in Chicago. Every year they say, "Oh, this guy's it." This year, this guy's it. This guy's it. Never pans out. So I'd kind of shy away from Austin Hooper to start this week. So definitely Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, Jarvis Landry are the three starts for the Browns. My opinion. Moving on to the Seahawks Falcons. Let's go here. Let's start with the Seahawks. So, I mean, it's I'm thinking I thought there was somebody. I thought there was one of the offensive linemen for Seahawks. It was maybe not. So interesting setup this year in Seattle. So I have Russell Wilson. I drafted him in a bunch of leagues. I think he's gonna have a good year. Russell Wilson, Chris Carson, Tyson, Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, definite starts for me in the game. Um, Greg Olson, and I like him, but I mean, literally, they still have all. So I know they signed him for I don't want to say a huge deal, but he's probably going to get quite a bit action. Whether he produces or not is a different story. Um, Defensively, interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how they play up front. Um, Linebacking core studs, safeties studs. Um, Maybe the only kind of weak spots, maybe Quandre Diggs, Trey Flowers, maybe. I say maybe. I'm not saying they're weak. I'm just saying Jack Griffin, Jamal Adams, we already know what they bring to the table. Carlos Hyde's going to be interesting. You know, how much does he play with Chris Carson? Carson can actually catch a little bit out of the backfield, but Hyde. Um, so if you're looking for backup running back, Carlos Hyde for sure. Um, that's kind of what I see with the Seahawks going on the road. Let's pull up the Falcons. I just don't know. Like I'm gonna say this again. I don't understand. Well, I do understand why they're saying it, but I honestly don't like. So it comes down to Atlanta's offensive line versus um, Seattle's defensive front. But keep this in mind. All three Seattle linebackers are very, very good. Um, in my opinion, and I know I've drafted, like I said, I've drafted about 20 leagues. Gurley was probably fourth to fifth round pick this year, whereas I can remember years past he's first or second round. To me, he's going to have to prove that he can still run the ball. He's healthy. I did read where they want Julio Jones to score more in the red zone this year. I mean, so this game starts for me are Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Calvin Ridley, and Hayden Hurst. Again, I'm not like the only reason you would start Gurley is obviously if he's second back. Can catch the ball out of the backfield. Can run the ball a little bit. So I don't know. I'm just temper your expectations. I'm not expecting big things from Gurley to start the season. He's kind of have to grow into it and work into it. Those are the starts that I have for Falcons. Let's go. This is the other game that I was kind of ha-haing about. So you got the people wanted to say San Diego, but Los Angeles Chargers. Tyrod Taylor starting. Yeah, so basically, literally, Laga may not play, Pouncey's out. So it's probably going to be Scott Quessenberry, Storm Norton, Dan Feeney, Forrest Lamp. I mean, literally, they're down to backup linemen already. Chance that Mike Williams isn't going to play. The good thing about Tyrod Taylor is he's mobile, so that does give him a little bit of an edge. Eckler being the starter this year, I think he's going to have a pretty good year because he can catch the ball. He can run the ball, despite him being not the average running back, size running back. Keenan Allen, obviously, and we'll look at Cincinnati. I don't know who can guard him or play him. And Hunter Henry. So the game, I mean, Tyrod Taylor is like a fringe play for me. Austin Eckler definitely, Keenan Allen definitely, and Hunter Henry definitely. Anybody else I would probably stay away from. Obviously, we know history of Chargers defense. Front four, pretty good. Kenneth Murray, Denzel Perryman, pretty good. Chris Harris, decent. Adderley, decent. Casey Hayward's pretty good. Here's your key right here, Rayshawn Jenkins. No Derwin James. So a little bit of question marks on for San Diego offensive line and a little bit in the secondary. Let's go back to the Bengals. The Bengals. Joe Burrow starting for the Bengals. And it looks like AJ Green's actually going to be able to start week 1. Let me check that out for sure. Yeah, he's actually active, so it's going to be interesting to see he can stay healthy this year. I mean, in my opinion, he has to stay healthy for this guy to have a good year. Joe Mixon has to run the ball. The offensive line has to play better. Yeah, I mean, probably AJ Green, Tyler Boyd, Joe Mixon. I don't know if you start Joe Burrow or not against the Chargers defense. That's kind of Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd definitely. AJ Green, tread lightly. Watch T. Higgins. I think he could step up and he could provide a bit of a spark there. All right, I'm gonna pause the video. We're back on the YouTube channel. So we're talking about the Bucks and the Saints. The Saints are going to be starting Drew Brees, Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, and Jared Cook. We're talking about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers right now. So here's what I'm thinking they do. If Mike Evans is out, Chris Godwin's the clear number one. No idea where Scotty Miller came. I don't know any of these backups. So I'm thinking they're going to be running a lot of 2 tight end scenarios. So I'm starting Gronkowski and OJ Howard. So I mean, in theory, you could start Tom Brady. I think Ronald Jones is second. I'm going to say it because I think he could be a little bit of a dual threat. Obviously, they have LaShawn McCoy, so he's probably going to get some playing time as well. Chris Godwin for sure, Gronk for sure, and then OJ Howard's kind of a little iffy for him. So, going to be interesting to see how the offense pans out. The defense is actually looking pretty dang good. I think it's going to be the same questions every year. I think their front 7 are really good, pretty good. Not to say really good. They're okay. They're good. It's the secondary. I think the secondary is where and Drew Brees knows how to pick apart a secondary. So that's the key to that game for me is the Tampa secondary. Okay, so moving along, Cowboys and the Rams. We'll start with the Rams. And this game again, probably going to be dependent on a little bit of it's dependent on the situation, the fires out in California. Keep an eye on that because chances are, if I don't even know if this game would get moved, I don't know what they would do, to be honest with you. So, originally I was Jared Goff. I don't know that I've necessarily started him, but where I thought about it, I didn't realize the Cowboys lost 3 key defenders, and they have a new defensive coordinator. So yeah, I'm kind of for this week, I'm on the golf train with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods, Tyler Higbee. And I would probably start Cam Akers. I don't know how much Malcolm Brown. A, I don't know how much he's going to play. B, I don't. He's not the pass catching, and Cam Akers can catch the ball out of the backfield. Um, that's kind of where I'm leaning there. Josh Reynolds, I don't really know. Dude, I don't know any of these guys. So, I mean, it's Cooper Kupp. Dude, if you're a Rams fan, you got to hope that these two guys stay healthy. I mean, probably actually, in all actuality, these three guys, one of those guys gets hurt, you could probably, Gerald Everett could come in. Their offensive line has got to be better. If not, they're going to be in for a long. Defensively, I mean, pretty good. Pretty good. Got a couple of new guys here. Still got Aaron Donald. You got Michael Brockers, Sam Ebicom. However you say. Jalen Ramsey anchoring that secondary. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. So let's go to the Cowboys. Obviously, starting Zeke. I mean, I don't like any of the tight ends for Dallas. They don't use them a lot. I mean, Jarwin's okay. What did he do last year? Yeah, 3 touchdowns. Yeah, so you're literally not starting any Dallas tight end. So it's literally these 5 guys, and he's probably, if I had to guess, Jalen Ramsey's probably going to be on Amari Cooper. So it's going to have to be Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb that steps up. So I mean, I don't know. Take a chance to start one of those two. Probably Michael Gallup. Definitely, you've got to start Zeke, and you probably start Dak in that game. Although I don't know, it's gonna be interesting. Yeah, offensive line be all right. Defensively, this is what we were talking about. Their secondary is pretty suspect. Linebacking core is really good. Front 4. Yeah. They have to get pressure on the quarterback though. See, but that's I'm saying Dak, Zeke, probably Michael Gallup. I'm not saying not to start Amari Cooper, but I don't expect Amari Cooper to have that big game. Because I think Jalen Ramsey's going to be on him most. That's what I'm looking for there. Then the double Monday night game, Steelers and the Giants. Giants, I mean, yeah. So I completely left Sterling Shepard out of the conversation. So, I mean, you start Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. I don't think anybody's using Daniel Jones. So I mean, I'm saying don't use Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, Sterling Shepard, Evan Ingram. I mean, if they put points up, it's going to be through those 3 guys, in my opinion. Darius Slayton's probably the guy. He's a little bit under the radar still. Be interesting to see how the offensive line holds up. Golden Tate probably sounds like he may not play, so it may be Damian Ratley that comes in that third wide receiver position. Dion Lewis backup now. He could come in and play some. So that's who I'm going with for the Giants. And Steelers, obviously, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, for now, Roethlisberger's back. I think Anthony McFarland is going to pass Benny Snell Jr. before. But anyway, that's just a little side note. I'm starting Roethlisberger, James Conner, Juju Smith-Schuster, and Eric Ebron. I don't know if I would start any of these other two guys. Maybe Deontay Johnson. I mean, literally, you could almost start anybody, I guess, but I would expect Juju to have a huge game. Ebron is going to be the interesting part for me. He's kind of the guy that I saved for my kind of my like hidden gem, even though he had a huge year last year. I don't think a lot of people, I mean, I'm not saying that people don't know that he went to Pittsburgh, but Vance McDonald's been a bust, and Zach Gentry's the. I think Zach Gentry overtakes Vance McDonald. I wouldn't be surprised. Oops, I wouldn't be surprised with Vance McDonald. I mean, that's just horrible numbers for not having guys last year to do anything. That's my thoughts on that one, and then last but not least, Tennessee Titans and the Denver Broncos. So everybody knows that two things. Jadeveon Clowney signed with the Titans. Two, Von Miller is out for an extended period of time. That hurts that Denver defense. They have some other there as well. Tennessee's defense is not bad. I actually drafted them in a couple of leagues. I think they're going to be sneaky good. Yeah, offensively, I mean, obviously Derrick Henry. Um, Derrick Henry's probably going to get a lot of the work. I think Sonoris Perry will back him up because Darrynton Evans is out. Corey Davis has a hamstring issue again. So it's probably going to be A.J. Brown and Adam Humphries. I think Jonnu Smith is, I think, start. Like, they're saying not to start him this week, but I honestly don't see why not. He had a pretty good season last year. They're going to have to do something. So if I'm starting anybody for the Titans, it's probably going to be Ryan Tannehill, Derrick Henry, A.J. Brown, Jonnu Smith, Adam Humphries, kind of like a flex play. AJ Brown and Adam Humphries are flex plays for me. Derrick Henry and Jonnu Smith are definite starts in my opinion. Moving over to Denver, yeah, I think. I mean, I don't know. I think so. Offensively, I don't like Drew Lock in this game. I literally don't like this Broncos in this game, even though they're at home. I just think Tennessee's got too much experience on both sides of the ball. Melvin Gordon, Philip Lindsay might be okay to start. I mean, question is the offensive line. I don't know. Portland Sutton may not play, so Deshaun Hamilton. Gary Judy, I guess, could start maybe. I mean, if probably the only two guys that I might say to start in this game would be Melvin Gordon and Noah. And their defense, Von Miller's out, Mark Barron's out. These guys are out. I mean, you're going with front fours. I don't like it. Back end is not bad. Bryce Callahan's a little bit of a liability, in my opinion. AJ Bouye, Kareem Jackson, Justin Simmons, not too bad. I think the Titans win that game. So let's run through the games. I'll give you my picks as well. So I think Eagles, Redskins. I think Eagles win that game. Dolphins, Patriots. I'm actually going Dolphins in the game. Packers, Vikings. I'm going Packers. Colts, Jags. I'm going Colts. Bears, Lions. At Detroit, I'm going to say the Lions squeak out a win. Raiders, Panthers. I'm actually going to go with the Raiders here. I think they'll get it done on the road. Bills, Jets. I think the Bills, no doubt. Browns, Ravens. Ravens at home. Seahawks, Falcons. I'm going Seahawks on the road. Here's a toss-up. Chargers, Bengals. Part of me wants to go with the Bengals, but I'm gonna go with the better defense, and I think that better defense is San Diego, so I'm going with San Diego. That game, Cardinals at the 49ers. Um, I think Arizona's just got too many offensive weapons. I think Arizona just wins by a field goal. Bucks at Saints. I think the Saints win that one. It could be a high scoring game, but I still think the Saints will come out on top. Buccaneers secondary is too iffy for me. Cowboys at the Rams. I'm gonna go take the Rams at home. Steelers at the Giants. I'm taking the Steelers. Titans at the Broncos. I'm taking the Titans. So that's kind of a roundup of week one. Hope you guys like the video. Smash the thumbs up. Check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/ghost11974. Twitter, 11974ghost. Thanks for checking out the week one fantasy preview on the YouTube channel. Catch you guys on another one.